Good morning, this is Quindy. Got my friend John Wagner here from the Smith County Historical Society. He was instrumental in helping get the little museum set up over here. And we're in Carthage, Tennessee, in Middle Tennessee, right above the Cumberland River. We're in South Carthage. When the Yankees took over Nashville, they also captured Gallatin, which was an instrumental L&N Railroad supply line. Then they came and they occupied Carthage here, which was strategic because it was on the Cumberland River. Later, in August, they finally ran General John Hunt Morgan out of Hartsville, and it was also a river city. So we're in Carthage, which was a pretty large Union installation during the early part of the war. Early on, General McCook was the commander in charge of the Army of the Cumberland in this area. Then Joseph Reynolds, that's the time of the Battle of Hartsville. And then later on, General George Crook, the famed Indian fighter who the Cherokee Apaches respectfully named Nantan Lupan, in other words, it means gray wolf in Apache, took over this, and he handled it pretty well from mid-1863 on up until he went on south to Chattanooga, Chickamauga, and then was ordered, even though he was still in command of this post, he wound up back in Western Virginia. He was sent back over there, ordered back over there. But during mid-1863, this was a installation of nearly 8,000 men here. The whole city was occupied by Union forces, and there's a map that shows the rifle pits in 1900 still very visible all above the city. There were 4 distinct camps in the city. So this was a strategic port at where the Caney Fork and the Cumberland ran together. During the war, the Tennessee Trio has recovered hundreds of relics over here. And John, you were able to look out in the fall when they completed this road that basically cut the Union camp in two. And how many people did you tell me you saw with metal detectors over there?
There's about 35, 40 over there.
Over there. That was before I started
Yeah,
hunting.
people we never heard of before.
Yeah, so they had a big time over there, but I missed out on all of that fun. I started hunting later. But Carthage was a major installation, and they did a lot of foraging parties, and it was the main supply line by land between Hartsville and Gallatin for supplies, ammunition, and it also had a gunboat or two come up the river, didn't it, John?
Yeah, I think most of the troops were delivered here by gunboats and troop ships.
So just a little local history. We spent a lot of time up here. There's there's still a few relics around. All this is private land. Hopefully one of these days the artillery position on top of the hill, which unfortunately due to the vegetation we can't see now, but been up there many times. It's very steep, and they could fire to the location where we are now. They had a range of up to 5 miles with a rifle cannon. In fact, they tried to sucker General John Hunt Morgan into sending some troops over to attack a group they purposely put over here as decoys, and they were supposed to withdraw quickly, and then the guns from Battery Hill were supposed to hit Morgan, but he didn't bite on that deal. So that he made a few feeble attempts. He knew that the strength here, he did it just to harass the Union. But pretty famous city, and here in Middle Tennessee, and it was an important strategic point during the Civil War. Thank you for watching. Good morning, this is Quindy, and I got my good friend John Wagner Jr. He's a member of the Smith County Historical Society, and he's got his reproduction cannon. How long you had it, John?
I've had it about 10 years. It's a 3-pound rifle.
John, going to have a big event here in June here, and about a bridge. Tell us a little about it.
Well, the old Cordell Hull Bridge down below us here has been closed for many years. They're going to have, completely rebuilt the bridge, put all new concrete. They're going to have a reopening. You can probably hear the background noise that's running down there now doing the finishing touches on it.
Yeah, now Cordell Hull wasn't from Smith County. He was from Pickett County, right?
Yes, he's Pickett County. I think his home place up there is a state park or something now. he practiced law here in Carthage for years, and he had an office over a drugstore down here when President Roosevelt called to ask him to be Secretary of State. They didn't have a telephone, so they called the drugstore, and they went upstairs and got him, brought him down, Secretary of State.
Well, now he holds the record for Secretary of State for what, 9 years and 9 months or something?
So. He's most noted for being Secretary when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. They said he told about it in Tennessee English.
Yeah. Well, he also helped found he was one of the instrumental in forming the United Nations as well, I understand.
Right, and some people don't like it. He's also called the father of the federal income tax. So.
Well, I'm not as fond of him as I was, but anyway, in June they're going to have a big deal here and reopen that bridge. And there was a new Veterans Bridge opened upriver when that one was sorely in need of repair and really condemned. And they tried a refurb in '92, and John didn't work out, so they got a federal grant, and so this thing's been in process 4 or 5 years, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, several years. I'll be glad to get it open. It adds 5 miles from my trip to Carthage to have to go around to the big.
Yeah.
I can see the courthouse here, and it adds 5 miles. Doing that for years, it really adds up.
Now we're located in South Carthage, across the Cumberland River, so we're going to it. John, you and I met as sons of Confederate veterans, and you're still flying the flag here. Now, you had an ancestor that rode with Morgan, one of Morgan's colonels, correct?
Well, I had a great-great-grandfather was in Allison's cavalry, and I had another great-great-grandfather was in the 23rd Tennessee. That's more of the distant relatives that went on with the doctor with Morgan's.
Okay, that Colonel Allison, the Tennessee Trio, which that's close to where Josh lives, and of course you know Doug from the Trio for many years, but we've hunted that Allison camp, and so I've got something for you this morning you didn't know. I've got you an infield bullet there's 1 out of a 90 or 100 chance that your ancestor who rode with
that's Confederate too.
Allison's cavalry squadron, one of the few units that was called a cavalry squadron. So enjoy that, John. It's a good possibility that that maybe your ancestor dropped that.
Yeah, he could have. I know one of the reports said that Allison's cavalry wasn't doing any good, and they might have been doing some harm. So.
Well, they ended up and distinguished themselves in the Battle of Chickamauga. I do know that. After Morgan went on his Ohio raid, he dispatched Colonel Allison and his 90-man cavalry unit down to Chattanooga, and they went on to Chickamauga from there.
My ancestor got captured at Chattanooga, and he went on to Rock Island prison, stayed the rest of the war. So.
As did a lot of them. I had a great-great-uncle that also spent a little time in the Yankee prison camps. Okay, John, thank you a lot. Appreciate this lesson, buddy.
Thank you.